I mean, you're standing there in the cage. What's going through your mind when they're reading off that decision? Then how do you handle losses? Do you like immediately want to go back to the gym or take a break, or do you want to like sign the rematch right away?
Well, the funny thing is I've brought this up multiple times to people close to me, my coach, my boyfriend, whatever, that I've had people say, like, who are close to me, oh, are you still gonna fight? Like one loss is gonna make me retire or curl up under a rock.
Yeah.
But people don't realize how many times you lose in grappling tournaments over the years, and how many times, as an amateur boxer, I'm 13-4, but like, okay, I had those 4 losses, 2 were the same person. I'm going out there, I'm taking risks. You don't get to where you get by only, sticking around if you win.
Come on.
There's so many unspoken defeats even in the gym that people don't see, and they assume that, oh, okay, just because the world is watching. I don't care if the world's watching. I'm doing it for myself.
Marisa, you're a professional MMA fighter, professional boxer, black belt Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, certified personal trainer. So pretty much you're an all-around badass. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking me to come on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to go back a bit when I start off my shows. Like, where did you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Childhood was pretty normal, I guess. As normal as it could be. I grew up in Woodbridge, Connecticut.
Okay.
My mother basically raised me, my brother, and my sister, and she worked 1,000,000 hours a week. So we
Wow.
just kind of raised ourselves in
Yeah.
a sense.
Yeah.
But I just, saw, a hard work ethic. And I think that plays a big part of who I am and who I've become, just by seeing, somebody working to provide,
Yeah. Absolutely. And then how did you get influenced or, kind of pushed towards the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA sort of thing?
Um, so it was kind of like, it just kept like, you know, the universe kept trying to tell me that was something that I should do. My brother wrestled. He'd always just, grab me, wrestle. I'd have to, defend myself basically.
Yeah.
And when I think it was probably like it was before junior high. It had to be like later elementary school. I wanted to wrestle, and I even went to, like 2 practices, but I was the only girl, and nobody wanted to wrestle with me, even like family friends of ours, because at the time it wasn't like it is now that we're talking, almost 2 decades ago. Girls wrestling was very rare,
Yeah.
and not accepted. Even my brother was like, he didn't want his sister on the team, whatever. So my mom wouldn't buy me shoes, so I stuck with it. So I tried to drag my sister, who's the exact opposite of me. So it didn't end up working out because at the time, I was just like, all right, well, all the odds are stacked against me, forget it. But I did actually go to, 1 or like 2 practices, 2, 3 practices, but didn't end up sticking with it. And then when I was probably 16, I went in. My friend with 2 of my friends who were training in an MMA gym didn't even really know what MMA was, but they were doing some classes, and I went and I loved it. I did a Muay Thai class, the first Muay Thai class I ever did, and then a Jiu Jitsu class, and I didn't know what Jiu Jitsu was. And still at the time, the instructor makes a comment, oh, this move's going to be awkward for some people, and it's like, I'm the only girl in the room. Like, obviously, you're talking to me.
Right.
But I loved it. I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't, I didn't have a way to get there. It was,
Yeah.
further away than I would have liked. And then, well, that was like 16, 17. And then when I was 19, I started dating somebody actually who taught martial arts.
Okay.
And he would just train me kind of on the side, just for fun. And I loved it. And then I started doing classes, and this was just a traditional Taekwondo. But I just literally 4 or 5 days a week I was training, and I just fell in love with it. And then after like a year, that relationship went to flames, and I was like, you know what, now that I actually got in such a pattern and routine, I need to continue training. And I don't even remember doing it, but I typed into Google like martial arts training, and actually the gym I'm still at now, which I run and manage with the owner, now in March will be 9 years, and his wife called me and was like, oh, do you want to come try out a class for free? And I'm like, why would I go to, North Haven? I never go to North Haven. And I was like, no, it's a free trial.
Yeah.
Let me just go down, try it out. And I walked in the door and I never left.
Come on. That is
And now,
awesome.
and he told me, my coach, Andrew Calandrelli, told me my whole life story, what I would be doing, we're talking almost now a decade ago, and everything he said I could accomplish, I've accomplished with him, and multiple titles, world titles, Golden Gloves titles, like all sorts of things, pro MMA fighter, pro boxer. I would have never dreamed these things for myself. I just kind of followed his guidance, and
Yeah.
so far, so good.
Wow, what a cool story. That is awesome. Now, according to Tapology, they're showing that you started your amateur career in 2015 for MMA. Is that correct?
Yes, for
Okay.
competing. I started training in 2012.
Gotcha.
Amateur boxing was probably 2014, but that doesn't go on Tapology. And then
Right.
2015 had first amateur MMA.
Gotcha. And now I noticed that you had like quite a few cancels in like 2016 and 17, or even early part of 2018. What happened with all those?
I had a 6-month period where I trained for 3 fight camps that all 3 girls pulled out within a week or 2 of the fight.
Oh my God.
So actually the first time, so now I do have a contract with Invicta, but a few years ago, my coach had, reached out to somebody who was going to be able to sit down with Invicta, and they were like, oh no, well, she has so many fights she's pulled out of, and we're like, no.
Right.
And I actually reached out to Tapology and I said, listen, you need to clarify who canceled the fight, because I only had to at one time pull out a fight, and I had a torn hip labrum and I had to get surgery. So looking like, all these fights canceled, it wasn't a fault of my own. I was ready to go, and 3 fight camps back to back to back, full fight camps, like literally the week or 2 before they backed out. So
Oh my gosh.
didn't make me look good, but yeah.
Well, you did make your Invicta FC debut back in October 2019 against Linda Mahalik. Very intense stare down, lots of blood in that fight. You ended up losing via decision there, but what was your experience working with Invicta?
I think Invicta's great. I'm, can't wait till I'm ready to go to be back in there with them. They're awesome. I think it's awesome to have an all women's organization, and the fact that I'm underneath them. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Obviously a win would have been better, but I'm planning to show more of what I'm capable of the next time they have me out there.
Yeah, I mean, you're standing there in the cage. What's going through your mind when they're reading off that decision? Then how do you handle losses? Do you like immediately want to go back to the gym or take a break, or do you want to like sign the rematch right away?
Well, the funny thing is I've brought this up multiple times to people close to me, my coach, my boyfriend, whatever, that I've had people say, like, who are close to me, oh, are you still going to fight? Like one loss is going to make me retire or curl up under a rock. But people don't realize how many times you lose in grappling tournaments over the years, and how many times, as an amateur boxer, I'm 13-4, but like, okay, I had those 4 losses, 2 were the same person. I'm going out there, I'm taking risks. You don't get to where you get by only, sticking around if you win. There's so many unspoken defeats even in the gym that people don't see, and they assume that, oh, okay, just because the world is watching. I don't care if the world's watching. I'm doing it for myself. So
I love that.
they can deal with the loss, and I don't care about it. I do care in the sense that I didn't show who I am, but I was completely comfortable in that cage, and almost to the point where just something didn't turn on. I was, so it is what it is. No excuses. There's moments of that fight I was happy with, and then there's plenty that I didn't feel myself. So I just have to go out there and prove that I am who I am. Otherwise,
That's awesome.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, starting with Rewebbed. They are the best digital marketing agency on the planet. I love working with those guys. Founded by a guy named Ian Inman. He's on a mission to feed 1 billion kids and help 1 million entrepreneurs. Go check them out. Tell them I sent you. Alpha Outpost, amazing monthly subscription box sent right to your door every single month. You can start for $5. They send you cool stuff like this. Go use the code TOPRATEDMMA for 15% off your order. Every time that I have a guest on my show, they say that's an amazing flag. Well, this flag here and many others that I own are from a company called Combat Flags. It's a veteran-owned company. They're on a mission to donate as much money as they can to stop soldier suicide. It's an amazing organization. Go check them out, Combat Flags.
And you kind of touched base on this, but you're also a professional boxer. Are you looking to continue to do boxing and MMA, or are you kind of leaning more towards one over the other?
No, I mean, it's all experience, and I love boxing. I put just as much time into it, and it's only going to make me better for MMA and more comfortable, and just more fight experience, more times getting out there. Like I mentioned, as an amateur boxer, I have 17 fights.
Right.
So I have more experience in just that than I do in, an amateur MMA. So,
Right.
all in all, it's just all more experience. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you post a ton of really cool food. In fact, you have your YouTube playlist on the Ultimate MMA Plus channel called Spider Monkey Eats. What's your favorite part about cooking?
I like making healthy food taste good. I think I think healthy food gets a bad rap. Thank you for doing your research.
Yeah.
But so, and a lot of people don't know how to cook. So I love cooking. I'm actually cooking right now, and I've been doing that all morning, chicken soup and sweet potatoes and all sorts of stuff. So I took a break from that to be doing this. But I love cooking. I love healthy food. I like making people enjoy healthy food. Everything I cook tastes delicious. And I say that and I mean it. So I like showing people. I could talked about it for years. And then now I'm actually getting to teach. And I also love teaching people. So now I'm getting to teach them what to do and how simple it is. It really is. It's simple. And I don't watch TV. I don't even have cable. Yeah. But if I do, I watch the Food Network. So I love that. And, my coach happened to say, maybe we should add that to the channel. Just, healthy cooking. People do smoothie videos and this and that. I'm like, oh, you just opened a can of worms because I do this for days.
Right. So. Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite meal that you like to make?
Favorite meal? Well, breakfast is my favorite meal, and I'll tell you what I have every single day. If I'm not in a fight camp, because then it's just higher calories. It's avocado toast with a runny egg yolk over it.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That's probably one of my favorites. So And other than that, I eat oatmeal a lot, which I get made fun of for. But
I do too. How did you get the nickname Spider Monkey?
So that's another thing. My coach gave me that. Almost 9 years ago. He literally, my first month in the gym, just started calling me the Spider Monkey, and it stuck, and it just stuck. So I started running with it.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. And then I think you had maybe an injury earlier this year, but any fight news coming up, or what are you working on right now?
So, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, 2017, I had surgery on my hip. I tore my hip labrum, they repaired it. And it's good, but anytime I'm training hard, which is pretty much all year round, or for a fight camp, it starts acting up. So the beginning of this year, January, I actually just re-injured it, just like throwing a kick or something. And so I couldn't even grapple. I still took a boxing match in February because I'm still able to box usually during some discomfort. I just can't grapple. It's just way too hip intensive. Yeah. So I still boxed in February, but then in March I got an MRI and I had a really bad bone bruise in my hip socket. So he's like, take 3 months off. The world kind of shut down, so it was good timing. Right. But then we had to go like virtual, and I had to do stuff when I should have been resting. So didn't get to fully heal. So about 2-3 months ago, I figured I'd try out PRP shots. Which you've probably heard of, athletes doing. So I invested in that. So I'm still having to kind of take it easy just for like 2 more weeks. I think I have been slowly getting back into training, but I'm hoping to fight either, the beginning of next year, if not like the end of this year, but at least boxing, first thing new year, I want to be back in there. So
Right on. I wanted to shift to a couple fun questions here for us real quick. Sure. I've got these things are called pod decks, essentially just random questions. I'm going to pull it out in here and see what happens here. This one says, what would you do if you were invisible for a day?
Let's see. I mean, I'm so quiet. I feel like sometimes I'm kind of like, that's me.
That's awesome.
If I were invisible for a day, ooh, that's a tricky one. What would I do? I don't know. Probably go somewhere I shouldn't be. Right. No, I'm sorry.
Well, that's perfect. Now, I've seen you post pictures of your cat. What's your cat's name?
So I have 2 cats. Okay. One is Frankie and the other one is Stella. Frankie likes to wake me up at 4 a.m. every day.
Yes.
But I'm up at those hours anyway, so yeah.
Perfect.
But they're cool. They're companions.
Oh, nice. They at least get along. That's good.
Yeah.
What's your go-to dessert?
My go-to dessert. Okay. In reality, this is gonna sound totally boring, but my go-to realistic dessert that I eat all the time is fruit.
Okay.
I love fruit, so that's always like if I have a sweet tooth, I always have fruit on hand.
Yeah.
But to be a little bit more exciting, I did make an apple pie like a week ago, and have a slice of that before sharing it with others. So that was delicious.
Of course.
But fruit is my go-to dessert. I'm trying not to be boring, but I do love cookies. So a good chocolate chip cookie is great.
That's my my illness as well. Is always going for the cookies, so I have to keep them out of the house for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I love to ask this question, but because I'm a music guy, what's a favorite type of music, or do you have a favorite band that you like to listen to?
I'm pretty open to everything. It depends kind of what I'm doing. If I'm working out, honestly, I like angry rap.
Okay. Yeah.
I always have. But just while I'm cooking, I'm listening to country music. So I'm like a broad spectrum.
Nice.
So I'm open to everything. Definitely open to everything.
I was just listening to old school Bone Thugs and Harmony yesterday, and then today I'm like Dirk Bentley country.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty much how it goes. My coach has me listen to old school rap. I've always liked, hardcore rap, like angry rap, Eminem.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly has some good stuff coming up. But at the end of the day, if I'm driving in my car, if I'm cooking food, I'm listening to country.
Sweet. Well, Marisa, I also wanted to give you an opportunity just to give a shout out to coaches, teammates, sponsors, anything like that. The camera's all yours.
So I guess the number one shout out is to my coach, Andrew Calandrelli, again, our gym's ultimate MMA training center out of North Haven, Connecticut. So if you guys are in the area, if you're tuning in, definitely come check us out. Training partners are what has gotten me as far as I've gotten, girls in boxing gyms, and my training partners for Jiu Jitsu at our gym. Every partner I have has gotten me to where I am. So, and then all my sponsors, I couldn't name them all even if I wanted to right now, but people have supported me all this way, and I plan to continue. I have more to show.
Awesome. I'm super excited to see you back in the cage. Truly an honor to have you on the show, Marisa. Really thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. I so appreciate it. Please leave a comment down below. Leave us a review. Share this video. We want to get it in front of as many people as we can. I'm going to continue to bring on the best guests possible and the best up-and-coming fighters, real stories. Thank you so much for checking it out. Have an awesome day.